Hey there, and welcome. So today, we're going to talk about two super powerful tools for talking about the past. Now, they might seem kind of similar, but trust me, mastering the difference between the simple past and past continuous will totally change the way you tell stories.
You know, it's kind of wild, but a tiny little tweak in grammar can paint a completely different picture in someone's mind. It's really the difference between something that happened and something that was happening.
Okay, so check this out. On the left, we've got, when I arrived, he made coffee. This sounds like a sequence, right? Step 1, I showed up. Step 2, then he started making the coffee. Action, then action. Simple. But look at the one on the right. When I arrived, he was making coffee. See? In this version, I walked in on something that was already going on. The coffee making was already in progress. It's a totally different vibe, isn't it?
So that's really the big question, isn't it? What's the real difference, and how do you pick the right tense to tell the exact story you want to tell? Well, to figure that out, we've got to meet our first storytelling tool.
I want you to think of the simple past as your camera. It's perfect for taking a snapshot of a single finished moment. Click. The action is done. It's over. It has a clear beginning and a clear end.
And putting these sentences together is super straightforward. For a positive statement, you just use the past tense of the verb. Easy enough. But notice what happens with negatives and questions. The little helper verb, did or didn't, jumps in to do all the heavy lifting. That lets the main verb just chill out in its original form. It's a really clean system.
So when do you whip out that camera for a snapshot? Well, you use it for any action that's totally finished, like I visited Rome. You also use it to list a series of events one after the other, like a domino effect. She entered the room, she sat down, and so on. It's also perfect for talking about old habits or what things were like in the past. The key thing to remember is all of these things are over and done with.
All right, so let's switch gears. We're putting down the camera and picking up a movie camera. See, the past continuous isn't about a finished snapshot. It's all about capturing a scene in motion, an action that was right in the middle of happening.
And putting this one together is just as logical. The formula is always the same. You just take the past of the verb to be, so was or were, and then you add the ing form of your main verb. He was reading. They weren't sleeping. Simple as that. You're literally painting a picture of an action as it's unfolding.
So when do you hit record on that movie camera? You use it when you're talking about an action that was in progress at a very specific moment, like at 10 p.m., or when two things were happening at the exact same time. But my absolute favorite use? Setting the scene for a story. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, you're creating the whole atmosphere before the main event even happens. Okay, now we get to the really cool part. This is where you go from just using grammar to actually being the director of your own story. When these two tenses crash into each other, that's where the magic really happens. Just look at this contrast. If you say, I watched a movie last night, that's a complete report. End of story. It's finished. But if you say, I was watching a movie, I'm immediately leaning in, right? I'm waiting for what comes next. What happened while you were watching it? It just creates this natural suspense.
Okay, here's our movie scene. We're rolling the movie camera, and action is in progress. You can picture it, right? Someone is just sitting there quietly, totally lost in a book. The scene is set.
And bam, in comes the snapshot. That single, completed action that just interrupts the whole scene. The phone ringing is the main event, and it happens during that background action of reading. This is storytelling at its best. You have the background movie, and it gets interrupted by the snapshot event. Here's another fantastic comparison that really drives it home. I played football every Saturday. That's a simple past habit, a routine. But I was playing football when I broke my leg. That's our movie camera again, right? It's focusing on one specific, ongoing moment that got interrupted by a dramatic snapshot. It wasn't just a habit, it was the scene of the accident. So here's the bottom line. You have the power to choose. You get to be the director. You decide what the main event is and what's just the background scenery. So let's put these tools right in your hands. All right, here it is, your official storytelling toolkit. Use the simple past, your snapshot, for the main events, the plot points, the punchline. This happened, then this happened. But use your past continuous, the movie camera, to set the mood, to describe the background, and to show what was happening when your main event came crashing in. So I'll leave you with this little challenge. Think about your day yesterday. What was the most important thing that happened?
That's your snapshot. Now, what was going on in the background right before it happened? That's your movie. See? You're already a better storyteller.